Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm about to tell you how working with My Story Animated was the worst decision of my life. Geez, this channel. So I'm not here to only talk about them. I have a story of my own, and it's not a very happy one. I'm the oldest child in a family of 5 girls, and all my sisters are my half-sisters. Each one of us has a different dad. Mom really loved having daughters, but she said men were annoying and she didn't want to live with any of them forever. But sadly, I was the ugly daughter. But I'm not ugly. It's just that I'm not as pretty as the rest of my sisters, who are pretty. Like real freaking models. Don't get me wrong, I love myself now. But when I was a kid, it really affected me. People would stop to laugh and talk with my sisters, and they completely ignored me. One day, Mom was reading something when she suddenly slapped her forehead. "Oh! This book says that ugly people are usually smart. That explains your ugliness. God takes beauty and gives brains. This is how it works." Well, meet my mom. She's dumb, but I still love her. Why am I saying this? Because the year I started 2nd grade, it was my sister's first day of school, so Mom came with us. My teacher saw us all together and said, "Oh, you're Sarah's mom. But these can't be her sisters. They're very different. Oh, Sarah is adopted." Ugh, Mom was always like that, but she wasn't getting away with it this time. I immediately whipped out a copy of my birth certificate. "Look, I swear I'm her biological daughter, but she keeps telling everyone I'm adopted because she's too dumb to accept that I'm different." Mom glared at me, but I stepped on her foot. Accidentally, of course, and went to class. Well, let me tell you, anyone can pass the 1st and 2nd grade, but it's when I got to the 3rd grade and things got harder that I found out the worst possible thing. I wasn't even really smart. When Mom saw my report card, she cried out, "Ugh, ugly and stupid? So then what did God give you? It can't be charisma. I mean, look at you." "Maybe a good heart, Mom? Maybe I don't judge people based on their looks?" Mom then started entering my sisters into beauty pageants, and they always won something. Once she came and said that since my sisters were like princesses, I should be the maid and serve everyone around. I glared at her. "You wish!" and went to my room. 1 year later, we found out that my sisters weren't just beautiful, they were also really smart too. Like so much smarter than me that I started making my second half-sister, June, do my homework. And my grades started getting so much better. When Mom found out, she went insane and said that I should find a job to make myself useful. But I have to tell you guys, I'm one of the top 10 laziest people on Earth. But Mom has another word to describe me. "You're just useless, Sarah!" I spent the next few years of my life doing nothing really meaningful. I'd mostly just stay in my room watching videos on YouTube and shows like Hannah Montana. Until one day, Mom told me that she was taking the older sisters to the salon, and I had to babysit the youngest toddlers. The minute she left, I went straight back to my room. The toddlers followed me and asked me to take them to the park. "Oh, yeah, sweeties, of course. Just after I take this nap." I was lying for sure, and I wasn't going to take them anywhere. Hours later, I woke up to my mom screaming and sobbing. The toddlers were missing. "Your sisters are lost because of you!" "Oh, no, they're too pretty. Someone could have kidnapped them and put them in a beauty pageant already." "Ugh, Mom, take a chill pill. They're at the park." But to my utter horror, they were not. And I just went crazy with guilt. I started looking for them everywhere. 2 weeks passed, and they were nowhere to be found. And for the first time in my life, I realized Mom was right. I was only an ugly, stupid, useless girl. After 3 weeks, we finally found them. A blind old man had found them and had been taking care of them. The social services said that Mom wasn't qualified to raise us because of my sister's incident, and they'd be taking all of us away from her. My sister started crying, and Mom looked at me hatefully. "I wish I'd never given birth to you." Mom paid almost everything she had to the lawyers until she won the case, and eventually we didn't have to leave her. But she never spoke to me again, and my sisters all resented me, except for June. June came to me one day and said, "Sarah, some people are just born unlucky, but there is no point crying over it, sis. Just find out what makes you happy." I was in 9th grade back then, and I decided to find a job after school. I applied for a job in a clothing store. When I got there, I saw a beautiful blonde girl waiting for the interview. Just then, the store owner came out and said, "Hey, you, pretty girl, you're hired." "But you didn't even interview me." "There's no need. You're, not very attractive for this job. But you look like a smart person. I'm sure you belong in a lab or something." "But I need this job so badly. Mom paid a lot of money for the lawyers after my sisters." Hey, where do you think you are? The Oprah Winfrey Show? I don't care about your stupid problems. You're not pretty. Like, at all. So leave. What a total jerk. I got really mad, so I spat at his face. To my surprise, the pretty girl walked up to him and spat at his face too. And then we both left. I never found a job, but I found a boy. And he was cute. One day, I invited him to my house, and when he got there and saw my sisters, he said, "Oh, they're prettier. Not fair." And just like that, he left. What a total jerk. I decided not to date any boy ever again. When I graduated, I decided to go to any college just to run away from home. I heard someone say that animation was an easy subject, so I studied that. And wow, that was such a difficult subject. By the time I graduated, My Story Animated was looking for animators. I didn't really like their content, but I needed the job, so I applied and got accepted. I started animating for them, and it was amazing at first. I loved knowing that the videos I'd worked on were being watched by millions around the world. Loads of people left comments about how much they liked my animation. And for the first time in my life, I felt like someone saw me, and I wasn't invisible anymore. I was really happy and proud of myself. That is, until one morning, when I woke up to see tons of YouTubers making fun of My Story Animated videos. They left the meanest comments and said that the stories were stupid. I realized these smart people were right, and My Story Animated was a crazy channel. So I messaged the boss, "Hey, your videos suck. I quit. Bye." Then I started following other channels, especially the ones who'd attacked My Story Animated. I was sure they would have better content, but soon enough, I discovered that they proved nothing useful or worth watching, and I was really beginning to regret my decision. Of course, Mom went insane when she found out that I'd quit. At least My Story Animated entertains people, and their content changes people's lives in some way. Why can't you be like the strong girls who send their stories to the channel? They always overcome challenges eventually, unlike you good-for-nothing loser! Remember I told you that Mom was dumb? Well, for the first time in my life, she said something that actually made sense. So I decided to contact My Story Animated the following day. But I never got around to it because that same day, I had a terrible car accident. When I woke up, the doctors told me that my legs were hurt and that it might take me a long time to be able to walk again. When Mom heard that, she had the most incredible thing to say. "Oh, I thought you'd be the one taking care of me when I get old. You couldn't even do that, could you? Now I'll be babysitting you." I just lost it and started yelling at her. "Who asked you to? I don't need you. You never treated me as a real daughter. You never loved me. Just leave my life." She shrugged and just left. June stayed by my side, though, and helped me with everything. I felt helpless, and I knew that my life was even more meaningless now. But June said, "Meaningless? How? Sarah, I envy you." I couldn't believe that my super gorgeous, smart sister was envying me? Me? "You have the opportunity to be part of My Story Animated family and help tell people stories from around the world. You can help give a voice to so many girls dealing with all sorts of obstacles. And you call that meaningless?" I immediately contacted My Story Animated, not only to work with them again, but also to share my story with the world. Fortunately, they agreed to take me back. As I kept working hard, my animation also got better, but my legs weren't getting any better. June used to take me to the park to make me feel better. One day, I found some young girls watching one of My Story Animated videos. "Hey, I work with that channel. Actually, you're now watching a video I animated." The girls were stunned. They oohed and awed and showered me with questions. Then they started hugging me and asking to take pictures with me. They also asked for my autograph. I felt amazing, and I felt I have a great power to help change the world. But Mom knew I was back to work and started calling me for money because all of my sisters found jobs and left her alone. I yelled at her, "You deserve what's happening to you. Don't contact me ever again." I was really happy at work, but the mean comments on my videos never stopped. One day I asked the boss, "Don't all these hateful videos and comments affect you?" "Yes, but there are plenty of people who love us and impatiently wait for our videos. Haters are just very judgmental people who see the world as black and white and think they are right about everything. And when they don't understand something, they just call it stupid or bad or ugly. And that is just bullying." I immediately thought of Mom and how she always thought I was useless, stupid, and ugly. Mom was a bully. My mom is a bully. Months later, I got better and was able to walk again, but I still thought about what the boss had said about bullies. So I decided to contact Mom again. I went to her house. She looked miserable and started crying the moment she saw me. "I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm sorry for everything I've done to you. All your sisters left me after everything I did for them. You're the best child I ever had. You never complained. I was so unfair. Forgive me, my child. Forgive your mama." She then got on her knees and was about to kiss my hand. I took my hand away and helped her get up. "It's all good now, Mom. I'm here, and we have an entire life to make up for the lost time. I forgive you, Mom. I really do." Tears rolled down my cheeks while I hugged her.
I am the unluckiest person in the world. I think it started the day I was born. My bad luck just got worse and worse, and my 18th year was the worst year of all. First of all, I was abandoned by my parents as a baby. My Aunt Carol took pity on me, and she took me in, but she already had a lot of mouths to feed. Her husband, Uncle Ken, and my cousins resented the fact that there was another baby in the house. They didn't like me. They pushed me around a lot. They liked to say that I had to earn for my keep since I was practically an orphan. So I never really had a family. I didn't have any friends either. The kids in my school said that they didn't want my luck to rub off on them. It didn't help that they named me Penny, because soon people started to call me Unlucky Penny. That name followed me all until high school. I always got bad grades. I always got picked last for teams. Nobody wanted to date a girl who was born under an unlucky star. So I grew up to be the loneliest girl ever. I had no friends and no real family. I was just another mouth to feed. And if you don't hit the like and subscribe buttons, you might get unlucky too. Keep on watching and don't forget to leave a comment after. I heard a saying before that luck comes in threes. In my case, my worst bad luck cases happened 3 times as well. The first one was on my 13th birthday. I was walking home from school, completely minding my own business, when a beehive fell from a tree exactly where I was standing. At first, I didn't know what hit me, but suddenly, I heard the sound of buzzing. It got louder and louder. Then the bees attacked, with honey oozing down my face. The bees swarmed around me and stung me so many times. I ran home flapping my arms over my head. When I got home, no one recognized me. My face swelled up like a balloon. Aunt Carol had to bring me to the hospital because I was in so much pain. Uncle Ken grumbled when he had to shell out a lot of money for medicine. "We're spending so much money on her," he said, not caring if I heard. "We just can't afford this." It hurt to hear that. It hurt even worse than the bee stings. When I turned 16, Aunt Carol said that she wanted to give me a sweet 16 treat. So we went out for ice cream, just the 2 of us. I guess she felt bad that I was always the least important person in the family. She hoped that I would grow up to be a good person. But I told her that I was so very unlucky. "Don't be silly, Penny," she told me that day. "We make our own luck. If you try to become a good person, you can be lucky." That night, I decided to cook dinner for everyone. I wanted to give them all a gift, even if it was my birthday. I was trying to be a good person, like Aunt Carol said. But while I was getting all my ingredients from the basement pantry, somehow I missed a step. I fell down the stairs. When they found me, I had already broken my arm and my leg. I had to wear a cast for months, and I was in bed for weeks. "Poor child," Aunt Carol told me while sitting beside my bed. "A lot of bad things seem to happen to you." I felt so miserable and unlucky. But I was feeling scared too. 2 big things already happened. The third one was probably going to be disastrous. Uncle Ken didn't have Aunt Carol's bedside manner. He didn't like it that he had to bring my meals to my room. "I know you didn't mean to fall down the stairs," he told me, "but please be more careful, Penny. We barely have enough money to feed everyone. And now we have to take care of you too." I cried a lot after that. I knew I was such a burden to them. I had a lot of time to think while I was stuck in bed. I knew I had to do something the moment I got better. So the only thing I could do to save money was to get a scholarship. For that, I had to study really hard. So I did. Somehow my bad luck didn't affect my grades anymore. I started to get A's instead of C's in my classes. When I finally turned 18, I was feeling pretty good about myself. I tried not to think of the third big bad luck that was coming. I got a scholarship to college. It would pay for everything. When I got to college, I got assigned to a dorm room, and I was going to have a roommate. I prayed that she was going to be a good one. I was wrong. Jenny wasn't just a good roommate. She was a great one. We became best friends from day one. Jenny liked to talk, but she also liked listening to me. She's the only one on campus who knew about my unlucky Penny nickname. I told her about bad luck coming in threes. She told me I was being ridiculous. If you keep thinking about it, then it will certainly happen, so stop thinking about it, she told me constantly. Only think happy thoughts. After a while, I finally did. We made our dorm room the best in the building. We both made sure to keep it clean and tidy. We never got into any argument about whose turn it was to vacuum. It was the perfect living arrangement. Jenny was the best friend I could ever hope for. A few months later, Jenny turned 18 herself. She treated me to dinner. She wanted to do something that she couldn't do when she was just a minor. I know what to do, she said. Let's buy a lottery ticket. I was excited. I never did that before. Let's do it, I cried. So we went to the nearest convenience store and bought tickets for each of us. When it came time to choosing the numbers, I decided on the dates of my birthday. Jenny just used random numbers for hers. We were excited for the results, but the draw was in a few days. Meanwhile, we spent a lot of time dreaming about the things we would buy if we won the lottery. Apart from the usual shopping sprees and exotic trips, mostly I thought about helping Uncle Ken and Aunt Carol. Although Uncle Ken complained a lot about me, the fact still remained that he let me live in their house. They still clothed and fed me. When the night of the draw came, I was feeling very nervous. I felt like my luck was really going to change that night, but just before the numbers were announced, my tummy was feeling topsy-turvy. I gave my ticket to Jenny and told her that I needed to use the bathroom real quick. I did my business as fast as I could. When I finally got back to our room, I was half expecting to see Jenny jumping for joy, but she was just busy fixing the stuff in her handbag. Did they call out the numbers yet? I cried. Did we win? Jenny turned around to face me. Sorry, Penny, no such luck tonight, she said calmly. Maybe we can try again some other time. I asked her for my ticket. I wanted to use it for a keepsake, but Jenny said that she already ripped it up and threw them away. I don't want to be reminded that we weren't lucky tonight, she told me. I felt absolutely terrible. I really thought that I was going to win. Oh well, I replied. I guess my streak of bad luck isn't over yet. It definitely wasn't. The next day, my alarm went off loudly. Turn that darn thing off, won't you? Jenny cried from her bed. I mumbled an apology and turned off the alarm. I got dressed quietly so I wouldn't disturb her anymore. After all my classes that day, I decided to buy some dinner that I could share with Jenny. I was sorry about waking her up that morning. But when I got to the room, Jenny wasn't there yet. I tried to wait up for her as long as I could. Jenny didn't even go back to the room that night. The next morning, I was feeling worried. It wasn't like Jenny to spend the night somewhere else. I called her phone. She answered right away. She said that she had to go home for a few days. There was an emergency. I hope everything turns out okay, I told her cheerfully. I'll see you in a few days. It was lonely without Jenny around, but a few days later, she finally arrived. She unpacked her bag and took out a lot of new clothes. Wow, I said. You didn't tell me that you went shopping. She shrugged her shoulders. She said that those were gifts from her parents. The Jenny that came back wasn't the same Jenny that left. Suddenly, everything I did started to annoy her. She said that she was tired of cleaning up after me. I was confused because I always did my share of the chores. I tried to please her more. I thanked her for every little thing, but she always seemed a bit angry over something. I was very surprised when I came back to the room one day. All of Jenny's stuff was packed in boxes. She told me that she was moving to another dorm. Why? I asked with a whine. What happened? Jenny didn't answer me. She just said that she needed a change. So she left. The school arranged a transfer and I got another roommate called Mandy who kept mostly to herself. I missed Jenny a lot. She was my first real friend, and now she didn't even want to talk to me anymore. I tried to call her, but she never picked up. The next time I saw Jenny, she almost ran me over in her new car. I was crossing the street when a red convertible nearly sideswiped me. I thought she would stop the car and check if I was okay, but when she saw that it was me, she just kept on going. What was happening to Jenny? She was turning into a mean girl all of a sudden. "Are you all right?" said a voice nearby. I turned. It was my roommate, Mandy. I stood up and shook the dust off my clothes. "Was that Jenny driving?" Mandy asked. I nodded. Mandy sniffed and made a face. "She's awful. My old roommate went to the same high school as her. She told me that Jenny is a snob. Besides, she practically forced me to leave my room so she could switch places with me." I felt terrible about my falling out with Jenny, but I didn't like hearing Mandy talk badly about her either. "She's not that bad. Maybe she's just having a bad day," I replied. But Mandy said that Jenny was truly awful. She heard that Jenny came from a family of gold diggers and opportunistic people. Her family's got a reputation of being thieves and criminals. Of course, none of them were ever caught, but everybody knew what kind of people they were, Mandy added. I felt insulted. How dare she say those things about my friend? The gossip was that Jenny was always finding ways to make money, even back then. Money is the most important thing in their lives. I thought about everything that Mandy said on the way home. Did Jenny resent that I wasn't able to split some of the furniture with her? Did she actually want a richer friend? It sounded ridiculous. I tried to rack my brains to find the reason why I didn't seem to be Jenny's friend anymore. I thought back to the day when everything changed. It was the day after the lottery draw. Suddenly, I felt a tingle. I took out my phone and searched for the winning numbers on that day. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The numbers were the same numbers as my birthday. My ticket actually won the lottery, but I gave that ticket to Jenny. She saw that my ticket won, so she stole it so she could keep the money for herself. How was I going to get my winnings? How could I prove it? I found the lottery office online and went there myself. I asked them what would happen if a ticket was stolen. Could anyone cash it in? Basically, they told me that they gave the money to whoever had the ticket. No strings attached. But if I could prove that the ticket was really mine, I could charge the thief for robbery, and I would get the money. But before I could accuse Jenny of these things, I had to find out if she really won the lottery in the first place. The lottery office couldn't disclose the name of the winner without their consent. I had to make a plan. I needed someone to do this with me. There was no better person to ask than Mandy. Mandy agreed to it at once. She really hated Jenny that much. She said that she would pretend to be a reporter, so she went undercover. She pretended that it was for a rags to riches story that was going to be aired on TV. Surprisingly enough, Jenny admitted that she won. "How did you pick the lucky numbers?" Mandy asked. "Those were just random ones, you know," Jenny replied. "Those numbers didn't mean anything to me." When I heard that, my blood boiled over. Those were my winning numbers. I used the dates on my birthday. Jenny was truly the worst kind of friend anyone could ever have. I knew I was going to get my third bad luck, and Jenny was it. I had to get that money from her because it was really mine. But how was I going to prove that I bought it myself? "The convenience store!" Mandy screamed. "There must be a CCTV camera there. They must have videos of you buying that ticket. You can show your birth certificate as proof that you really picked those numbers." Mandy's idea was brilliant. We ran to the convenience store that same day to ask for the CCTV footage. We got lucky. Mandy charmed and wheedled and even threatened the manager to give us a copy of the video. Somehow, we managed to get it. We went to the police station the next day. We explained everything that happened. They believed us right away. When we took all the information to the lottery office, they believed me too. Then everything escalated pretty quickly. Jenny got charged for theft. All the remaining money was transferred to me. I even got the red convertible. I was so very happy and very thankful to Mandy. She was turning out into a much better friend than Jenny ever was. "I promise that I will never do anything mean or illegal to you," she said with a laugh. "You're a good person, Penny. You were just a little bit unlucky." "Huh, that was an understatement, but my luck was turning now." I went back home when everything was in order. At first, Uncle Ken didn't seem too happy to see me. "Did you get into any trouble again?" he asked, feeling the worst. I smiled at him. I told him that I wasn't unlucky anymore. "I want to thank you for putting a roof over my head. I said. Uncle Ken was shocked. I told them that I had won the lottery. Then I gave him the keys to the convertible. Aunt Carol started crying and screaming with joy. I can't believe it. I guess we'll have to change your nickname then. The best feeling in the world came over me when Uncle Ken gave me a hug. He cried too when I told him that I would help with the expenses from now on. I guess that was it. My streak of bad luck was done. Only good things were going to happen to me now.